just to explain a little bit further sort of how this morning's going, trying to get everyone involved from C4 in terms of contributing to this morning. So we've got not one person coming to speak to you, we have 4 people coming to speak to you. I was looking forward to this moment of handing over and sitting down. Unfortunately, I got a text yesterday from one of our speakers saying that they couldn't do it. So I'm speaking as well. So I'll do a little bit more myself, and then I can go and sit down. But just to explain what sort of this morning you hopefully worked out, it's all about freedom, being free in Christ. And this stems from the fact that before Christmas in C4, on a Wednesday night, we worked our way through this fantastic Freedom in Christ book written by Neil Anderson. Has anyone heard of that before? Been through it before? It's really, really good stuff. And we went through it. There's 13 sessions in total. I think we squeezed it, didn't we, into about 7 weeks. Got it into Wednesday nights. We had a few people come and share. And we did it in 7 weeks, covering everything was in here. And we thought it'd be really good if we used the sort of theme of freedom this morning to speak on. But instead of covering 13 sessions in 7 weeks, we're covering 13 sessions in 20 minutes. So we have 4 people, 20 minutes, 5 minutes each. We're going to try and pick out the main bits that really grabbed us from what we heard on a Wednesday, all in here, and give you a slight overview. But having chatted to Brian this morning, it could be a good something for this church as well. So that's something else to look forward to. So I am going to sort of kick us off. So my 5 minutes hasn't started yet. I have to get that bit in. 5 minutes is what we've got. And I'm going to hand on to a few other people, and then we've got a drama to follow that's going to be really good. I'll explain about that in a moment. So, right back to the beginning. Okay, God created Adam and Eve. Okay, God created Adam. He was physically alive. Okay, he made him alive physically in the body, but at the same time he made him alive spiritually. Okay, he had this soul. He had a connection with Adam. He had a spiritual relationship with him. That meant that, he had this connection with God. So if we're thinking in terms of the freedom, he was free in that first place. The moment that God created Adam, he had this freedom. He had 3 things that were significant about this relationship with God. Significance, security, and acceptance. They were 3 things that Adam had as a result of being created by God. Significance. He had a purpose in his life. God had created him. He had a purpose. He was there. He was created to rule over all of God's creation. He didn't need to worry about not feeling significant. He had this role. He didn't need to go and pursue any other sort of significance because he had it. He had security. He had that intimate relationship with God. There's nothing there that would get in the way of that. Then when God created Eve, he had that intimate relationship with her as well. He was secure. There was no need. He didn't need to sort of go off and try and find significance, security elsewhere. And he also had acceptance. Okay, he had... Oh, sorry. I've done that the wrong way around, have I? He had the acceptance was he had the relationship. There wasn't any sort of shame in the fact that God had created them he created them naked, and there wasn't shame, there wasn't guilt or anything like that. He was accepted in the way that it was. And he was secure, he was totally safe and secure. And that is the way that God created Adam and Eve, and that is actually the way that God created you as well. When you were created, he had that in mind for you. Significant, secure, and accepted. Now the problem was that when Adam and Eve ate from that tree of knowledge, they sinned. That's what we call sin. And that caused a separation between them and God. So there was a cut-off. So that spiritual connection that was there in the first place, that had gone. And as a result of that, everybody else throughout eternity, when we are born into this world, we therefore have that cut off from God status. Okay, we are not spiritually alive when we come into this world. And there are some effects of this being cut off from God that Adam and Eve experienced in the garden. You may sort of relate to some of these, you might recognise some. They had a lost knowledge of God. They were fearful, anxious, guilty, ashamed, rejected, weak, powerless, depressed, angry. Some sort of emotions there, some states that we might actually associate ourselves with as well. And that's all through the fact that they were cut off in their relationship with God. Okay, when we're born, we have this desire to be, to have this significance, this security, and this acceptance. That's just sort of a human, I think anybody would actually, when they think about it, they'd recognise that we have this inbuilt desire. And we try and get these. We try and sort of get significance. We try and get security and acceptance through various forms. Along the lines of performance, accomplishment, status, recognition, appearance, admiration. In sort of the world's eyes, they are the things that will give you significance. They are the things that will give you security. And they are the things that will get you accepted. But it doesn't work. I'm sure we've all been there. We've tried these things and we recognise actually it doesn't fulfil. It doesn't give us those things. Why not? Why doesn't that stuff actually fulfil us? Well, ultimately, it's because we were born separated from God. Because of the fall, because of sin, we come into this world, we're separated from God, so nothing that we can try and do will actually give us those things. So what is the answer? The answer is we need to restore our relationship with God. Okay, we need to become spiritually alive again. That's why God sent Jesus. God sent Jesus to come to die on the cross in order for us to have that relationship back with God, relationship with Jesus, and therefore it's through that relationship that we can have significance, security and acceptance. Okay, so speaking as a Christian, I can say, as much as I still perhaps do some of those things and I'm still conscious of accomplishing things and being secure by people liking me and all that sort of thing, I can honestly say as well, deep down, I am significant. I know I'm significant in God's eyes. I know I'm secure in my relationship with God, and I know that I'm accepted. So actually, all of that other stuff I really don't care about to a degree. And I know that we do, some of you, I'm sure many people will agree, understand what I'm on about there. So I am significant, secure and accepted as a Christian. Okay? That is a brief overview of the first session, 5 minutes. And I'm going to pass on to Meg. I think Meg is on next, isn't she? And she's going to continue. And hopefully you'll get a fantastic overview of everything.